want to speak for yourself with Marco and Patrick. I am Marco Glorious.
And I'm just Patrick.
And we are two different types of guys who respectfully share and listen to society's opinions while making certain to listen to each other, but always speak for ourselves.
Now, we're not experts, so if you're angry, blame yourself. We're just speaking for ourselves.
Patrick.
I think that people probably felt my smile through what I just said.
Well, they can see your smile.
Well, now they can. I keep forgetting we're recording. Hi.
I'm looking at the people, and listen, I am...
Because wait, the people who are watching see what's happening. But the people who are listening don't know anything that's happening.
True. But I'm ecstatic right now.
I'm elated. I'm geeked. I'm just excited. Do we want to say who's here?
We have our first guest ever.
Our first guest ever. One of my friends.
One of my friends,
The
too.
epitome of black girl magic.
True.
Hard worker.
Absolutely.
The icon, the legend, the moment. Devyn Simone.
Oh, you guys are going to make me cry. I don't know if it was that tequila shot I did or
Wait,
the
what?
intro.
They think it's
water.
water. They think it's water, Devyn.
No, before I got here, I had tequila. And, no, you guys, I love you both so much. And I didn't know it was your first.
Yes.
Oh.
You're popping our cherry.
Yes, always.
Just add it to the list. No, I'm kidding. So excited. Mom, don't listen. I love you. I'm so excited to be here for you guys. And I love what you're doing. And I love you guys. You already know that.
For those that don't know, Devyn Simone, I mean, I can go through the list. And just so you guys
Please
know,
do.
when you have family in the building, you bring out the fine china. So I brought out the cards.
We brought out the cards today.
And the people watching, you see them there, got cards made, and you can hear them here. This woman, Devyn, let's go over the list. She's an entertainment journalist.
Facts.
Matchmaker. Television personality.
Tell 'em.
Host of The Challenge Aftermath. You've seen her on
MTV.
The Wendy Show. Amazon Live.
True.
Do I want to keep going? Do we just want to keep giving her flowers? Yes, let's give her her flowers.
It might take the whole podcast.
I mean, let's just do it. And she's a dear friend, which is the most important part.
That's the most important.
She is here to share her opinions. She's here to speak for herself. And I'm very happy to have a female perspective because I've been dealing with Marco for
Listen, you don't know how happy
this entire
I
time.
am dealing with this
It's ridiculous.
bundle of joy.
And it's just amazing to have you here. So thank you again.
Of course.
We can gush.
I am so excited to be here. You guys literally know how much I love you. And we kiki and all of this stuff sort of off podcasts and camera and stuff. So I'm excited to be here in your house. Beautiful, by the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Gotham. Thank you, Gotham.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And to chat.
If you guys know Devyn and you know us, we always talk about things that are kind of happening. And one thing that we all love in a show that we love is Insecure. We were just talking about it offline and all that stuff. And I mean, there's a couple people on Insecure getting some heat. Mr. J. Ellis, who I love.
But he kind of inspired this topic today, right?
Mr. Lawrence on that show. I don't know if anyone has heard. There's been rumblings, little information about him and his fiance and who she is
in real life,
and how he's hiding her on social media because of the color of her skin, her being a white woman.
Is that true? Like, do you think that that's what the case is?
I haven't seen a photo of her. No shade to JL.
So his fiance is white?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very much so. So I thought it would be good to kind of talk about the conversation of interracial relationships. What do you think about those, Marco?
Yes, Marco.
Well, you know what? For me, it's always been love is love. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm somewhat of a product of an interracial relationship.
Do people know your background? What are you mixed with?
I'm half black, half Indian, not feather, red dot, right? Okay, so my family's actually from India. So I kind of get not being, not belonging to one ethnic group, right? So for me, as I said, love is love. I think that, I don't have a problem with somebody falling in love with somebody outside of their race. I, for one, I've dated many races. And I think you should. I think it's good to learn about as many cultures as possible. And I think that people should do their due diligence in learning about each other's cultures. I think that's when the tension happens, when people do more assuming than actual asking and learning. And that's when things go awry, so to speak.
What about you, Devyn? What do you think?
Well, so two different things. One, to my boy Jay Ellis. I was going to say my friend. He's not my friend in my head.
I know that's right.
But to my boy Jay Ellis, rooting for Lawrence. I
Lord
don't
time
think
over here.
I am. I wasn't for a couple seasons, but he got it together now.
He is.
You know, I'm rooting. Well, except for the baby was okay. Yeah, I don't think he's hiding her for her skin color, and the thought of that isn't. If that were the case, is not only heartbreaking but frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm with Marco, and that I believe love is love. I come from a family that is United Colors of Benetton.
I know that's right.
I have a cousin currently living in Germany. Shout out to Monique, just got married. They have 2 kids. I have a cousin living in Brooklyn, New York, in Bed-Stuy, married to her Australian husband. They have a son. I have a cousin who's married to a guy who's half Japanese, half black. Their daughter's name is Miko. So I have a family that is everybody. Love is love. And then of course I have beautiful black love couples in my family as well. I'm the product of it. So I believe love is love. I don't think Jay is hiding her because of that. I think Jay doesn't want y'all in his business.
Now check that.
I was gonna say, he is an entertainer. At the end of the day, and he's considered a heartthrob.
But he's a black entertainer.
Okay.
And the issue that I think people are taking, and just to add my opinion to this whole situation, I believe love is love as well. I mean, the fact that people think that somehow, some way you have to date one particular race is kind of baffling and ridiculous. You fall in love with who you fall in love with. What you decide and what you believe is what you believe. I mean, personally, I would love to marry a person of color, just personally. But I'm not going to knock someone who's in a relationship with someone outside of their race, because how you find your love is how you find your love.
I'll tell you one thing I do have a problem with.
What?
I do have a problem with people who will say they only date one race.
And there's
that bothers me.
But I think that's why the black community is taking issue with this, because Black Twitter, we all have been on Black Twitter, very much say, why these successful black men always got to be with these white women? And it's interesting how that narrative always comes up, and it's just, why can't we just be happy with what they're doing?
And just being love. Like, it really is. Like, I'm speaking at the Black Love Summit coming up in a couple of weeks in LA. And, like, I love and champion what they're doing in terms of bringing the spotlight to couples and black love and examples of that we didn't always get to see growing up, right? Yeah. Because it was typically, white culture and those stories that were being told. So I love that, and I respect those who sort of, adhere to that, and I certainly uplift black love in terms of, 2 black people in a relationship. However, I agree, at the end of the day, I think the value should be placed on, if one of my black brothers or sisters is being loved fully and wholly and growing and supported and the best version of themselves they can be with their partner, I don't care if their partner is another black person, a white person, an Asian person, an Native American, an Indian person, I don't care. To me, that's black love in the sense that they are being loved. Correct. The flip side is being with someone just because you're both black and that's all you have in common, and you're worried if, they're disrespecting you. And this, of course, comes in every culture. So this isn't like a black couple thing. This is any couple thing. An all couple thing. I'd much rather you be with someone who genuinely loves and appreciates you, regardless of their ethnicity or ethnic background, than you be with someone just because on paper they match or fit. Or as a matchmaker, I hear all sorts of conversations around race and dating, and sometimes it's tough. Yeah. And sometimes people will even say, well, I may be attracted to this, but for my family's sake, I should probably stick to this because my parents wouldn't really like. And even that is just heartbreaking.
You bring up a good point, especially all of us here are black. We all grew up in the black experience. It's interesting how that seems to be a conversation in black households, when in actuality, a lot of people who are of color come from broken households and don't really know I came from a broken household. I come from divorced parents and stuff like that. So the idea of what black love is tethered for me. It's not anything that has ever been projected. I have family members that have been divorced. I've seen the anger. I've seen the yelling, the abuse, and all that stuff. And I think sometimes, especially black women, the model that they have of the ideal black man is a negative one. So wouldn't somehow, some way you gear...
What makes you say that? I'm curious.
No, okay,
I'm just talking about my experience in a sense of just, I think a lot of the black women that I speak to, a lot of friends of mine, their fathers are not in their lives. They've seen their cousins, their aunts and uncles have, fighting relationships, and it's not great for them.
You know what, though? I do think that part of the responsibility of the way black men are looked at in this country, it has to do with the way this country depicts
100%.
People of color, specifically black men.
100%.
And we often lose sight of that. I feel like so many people of color, we kind of just buy into the propaganda that has been fed to us for years, year after year after year. and we're like, yo, you can never find a good black man or a good man of color. And it's like, damn. You do realize that you're going along almost to get along.
Well, look at Hollywood. I mean, we all work in entertainment. Do they project positive outlooks of black men? Do we see that often?
Most of the
maybe
time,
now.
no.
Maybe now.
I think we do now.
I think now.
So
maybe
most
now.
of the time, no. But it's starting to happen.
Yeah.
Off the top of your head, can you think of something? There
What
are
do you mean, like a black man who,
or the epitome of like black love.
Denzel Washington
exactly,
and his wife.
Exactly. We have that.
We would have said Will and Jada a few years ago.
The book's coming out.
Not anymore. I know.
The book. I can't wait to read all that. You read about that?
Listen, I got too many entanglements.
Entanglements. All right now.
Next topic.
No, but it is interesting. Do you guys think that Hollywood though projects, like especially mainstream media, projects the epitome of black love in a positive light? Or do you think that somehow, some way, we often see the interracial relationship in that? Do black people have black experiences like the Denzels to look up to?
So here's the answer, my answer to your question, but then also a little bit of a sidebar.
Please.
So I do think that there are, again, like Cody Elaine Oliver. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It started as a documentary. Black Love was on OWN, and it was like a documentary, and then it became a series, and now it's an app. And again, she's taking these real stories of, and what I love, it's not just uplifting black couples, but it's showing sort of the trials and tribulations, which we don't do for a lot of relationships, regardless of ethnicity.
Yeah.
You sometimes see so-and-so and so-and-so have been together 30 years, but you don't know what it took to get to that 30 years.
Yeah.
So I love what they're doing there. But the other piece about it, like I do think Hollywood's starting to do a better job. I think that, like Marco said, the system though was built against, as black women, it is harder to have black love because if you're looking at the data, there are a greater number of educated black women compared to educated black men, and women as a whole anyway are more nuanced in what they're looking for. A man typically will be like, am I attracted to her? Do I have fun with her? Do I respect her? Do we want the same things? Yes or no. A woman's like, well, how tall is he? What is he making? How's his credit? Where'd he go to school? What's his family history like? And not saying that's bad, but now you got a lot of nuances, and black men have been held back because they are, incarcerated at a higher rate. The reason why they weren't in our homes is because, there was a lot of things against them, and the system hasn't caught up. I think Hollywood, though, is showing more of the interracial thing because the reality is, if we're going to start to unify and what we're seeing in the future, there's going to be more interracial couples. And and I do think it's not the end all be all, and some people may be bad about this. Check yourself, don't check me.
All right.
But I do think that making it more normal of couples of all ethnicities, whether it be, South Asian and white and black or whatever else together, I think that's important, and not only bringing together at least parts of America and the community, but also in again, our black brothers and sisters finding true love, whether it happened to be with someone else who is black, which is amazing, or someone else in general. They're deserving of love that's like of quality and shouldn't have to, they're not limited to only dating black people because that's all they're good enough for, or vice versa. And so I think Hollywood's trying to kind of, show the mix a little more, which isn't a bad thing in my opinion.
I think that's great.
Guys, according to Wikipedia right here, the number of interracial
He's
marriages...
out facts.
No, I want
Wikipedia facts.
Well, yeah, I mean, the number of interracial marriages as proportion to all marriages has been increasing since 1967. So that by 2010, 15.1, well, it's 2021, but like 15.1, that was in 2010. So imagine what the percentage of interracial marriages is now. I think... pretty soon, there's not going to be, I mean, that's what some people are afraid of, right?
Yeah.
The red cappers.
The mixers and all that stuff.
Of being diluted, so to speak. But pretty soon, that's what it is.
I do think there are some black people that feel that way too. Which is really, I do think there are some black people that...
Oh, there's definitely... the comments I have gotten for dating outside of my race on Instagram.
Where does that come from? Thank you for speaking about that and actually bringing that up, because it's quite interesting to me how there are so many conversations, so many things I see online, on Twitter, on social media about black women being upset when they see black men outside of their race. Black men saying like, oh, she's always with these white dudes. It's like, it's so, especially in our community, it's so vocal, and they find a platform and they find kind of a tribe that supports them, and it perpetuates that whole thing. You know what I mean? I've been in those chats. I've seen all those things. And it's interesting how sometimes people don't appreciate people just being happy and finding love. It's like, why can't you find that with a black man? Why has it always got to be somebody outside of your race? Especially if they see a pattern with someone. And it's like, maybe they're just happy with the person that they're with and it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Why does that conversation tend to happen?
I mean, it happens because we're human, and we're always looking for, how we can one-up the next individual. I think people also project their own unhappiness to things that they see. But also, like, I'm going to play devil's advocate as well.
Okay, devil.
All right. The devil's here?
No, not for nothing. I once dated a girl, right?
Yeah.
Right. We went out a couple times. I found her attractive. I believe she found me attractive. Cool. And she had just come out of a relationship. And I think her last few relationships were, she was dating white guys. Cool. Had no issue because she was out with me. So I was like, okay, that's dope. But in the conversation, in the dates that we ended up having, she told me how toxic these relationships were. Like, real, the last one, she was like, it was so bad.
Wait, was she black also?
She was black.
Okay, so
she was black, yes.
Yeah.
So she was talking about how toxic the last relationship was. But she almost spoke of it and spoke of him in the most endearing tone. And I was like, you do realize that you're telling me a lot. Like, you should have been gone. Like you're a beautiful black woman and who has a lot going for herself, but you still almost like she felt like she did something wrong. You told me this motherfucker was a drug addict. This dude was doing this, this, and this. And I was like, all right, you know what? I think there's still something there. And I ended up not seeing her anymore because I felt two things. Either she was still hung up on her ex, or she is just into white guys. And I said, I'm going to pull back. And I pulled back. And then a friend of mine, well, somebody I know, ended up seeing her later on. I was like, son, I'm going to let you know. This is what I think. I think she only like white dudes. But if you're going to do it, you got to represent for all the black men. No, I told him, I was like, you got to represent properly. Like, if you're going to do it, son, put your best foot forward. Don't fuck up, because I'm telling you, I think she's only into white guys. And he was like, all right, long story short, he fucked it up. Whatever. And it was, she ended up with another guy after him, and happened to be white, and she's happy, and I'm glad that she's happy. But something about it for me, when I was dealing with her, I felt like, no, I don't think that she puts a black man and a white man on the same playing field, on the same level. That's how I felt, and that's my own experience, right? So I say that to say this: how many people may be doing that consciously or subconsciously because of what our society has put on us as black people, as, the European standard of living and life.
As a matchmaker, I have to say I do see that, like that, and it's not just from, I actually find that Black Americans particularly tend to be the most loyal in wanting to date within their race, in that way, of the minorities, wanting to date within their race. But in general, I do see the repercussions of sort of the European standard, meaning because these are any conversation I have with a potential client it's private. I'm taking notes, I'm analyzing, but it's not supposed to be from a place of judgment. It's just me getting to know where you are, what you're looking for, and all of that. And I've had probably over 2,000 of these conversations in the last few years. And I do see, unfortunately, and I don't think they realize they're doing it sometimes, I'll even see people who are Asian but only want to date white, or who are, because there's like this status thing associated with dating white. Now, I will also say this, though. People love to make assumptions based on crap they don't know. So I mentioned I've had comments in my DMs. Yeah. It's no secret that I've been in relationships with white guys. It is by no means a reflection of me not finding brothers fine, not wanting to date them for whatever reasons, never worked out. Timing-wise, the last one I was interested in happened to be in San Fran. I was here. He was looking at taking a job in New York, but ended up taking one in LA. That distance just didn't work. So, and I don't put all my business out there, so people will make assumptions saying, you know, you don't give black guys a chance. That's not true. I know plenty I would have, if I were single, would have given a chance.
We've talked.
Would have given a chance.
Devyn
and I
have talked about a lot of men that we found.
I definitely would have given a chance. I mean, that time I met Idris Elba, he had a girl with him. Was this girl
you should have shot your. You should have shot it.
He had a girl respectful.
Oh, imagine I was like, I know her. Get me in, girl. Get me in.
I'm glad he ended up, you know. Well, let me not.
Oh, say it.
No, his wife seems lovely.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I'm glad he ended up with a nice, but a dope one.
She's amazing.
Yeah, he was with another beautiful black woman
at the time.
No, I love K. Michelle.
Oh, you talking about you throwing some shade at K. Michelle.
No, I love K. Michelle.
That's why you said what you said.
No, I love K. Michelle.
We're going to get into that later.
I'm talking about before K. Idris was out here with me in these streets.
You were shady. You were shady. I mean, he could be. But as you were.
Yeah, so I'm just saying though that be careful with the assumptions of, and that may be true for the girl you dated, but I hate to see, you know, there are black women who are really just trying to find love and be as open as possible. And just because you don't see them with a black man or they haven't been does not mean that they don't value, appreciate, love, respect. And if the right one came in their vicinity, then hey,
as I said,
they'd be all about it.
I gave her the benefit of the doubt because we were out on a date together. So it's like, okay, you know, that.
I mean, you can give her the benefit of the doubt.
I've tried to hook you up to Matchmaker. I mean, you're in a relationship, but before I knew that, absolutely.
But I will say this, and I'm going to speak on it, and y'all can hate me for all this. Black men do not know how to treat women sometimes. And I'm going to keep it 100 and keep it funky.
Not all.
And I'm not saying all. I'm not making a generalization, but I've seen a lot of black dudes that I know disrespect women in a way that I'm like, this is the reason why you out here in these streets doing what you're doing.
Can you give an example? Like what?
Give me an example.
A lot of I'm in a fraternity, so a lot of my bros have cheated on women, disrespected women, called them out of their names, and they're like, I don't know why she's not with me anymore. And I'm like, you don't know why she's not with you anymore? And I've said on this podcast before, I'll say it into the blue, the hardest thing in life is being, to me, is the black woman. Like meaning like
She's
the black
the hardest plight.
the hardest plight
is
being a black woman. Like you have to be everything for everyone. You have to be perfect. You have to be nice. You have to be kind. You can't have an off day.
Right.
I've said it. I'll say it to you. It's something that I will always fight for. I am not a black woman, so I do not know that plight. But from what I know, and it gets me riled up, it gets me emotional, no one will understand ever, unless you are a black woman, everything that they have to deal with. And I think that we need to honor our black queens, and there are a lot of black men that don't even know how to honor them. And for someone, it's almost like sometimes when I see a black woman with a white man, I'm kind of like, I understand. Because I understand why, because the people around you haven't treated you the right way. And not to say that that's all they look for, because they're looking for other things else. But when I hear the stories of why they're with this person, and I hear all the men that they've had that have been of color, I'm like, y'all don't know what y'all doing.
Fair.
You know?
I know some amazing.
Exactly.
Like
I'm not saying everyone. Exactly.
Yeah. They exist.
They're amazing.
But if we're looking statistically, the numbers, just in general, and part of that is systemic. The numbers of success, it's hard for them to
but
get
also
to
goes
that
back to
same
what
level.
you said about the incarceration rates and all the things.
That's what I was going to say.
Black men are not set up for success either.
It's almost like a catch-22. It's a revolving door because what's happening, people don't realize this now. Now, the strong, independent woman, she is like, these days, it's like, I don't need a man.
But honor that, though. Like, isn't it beautiful to see that? Like, it's so crazy to me how, like, black men sometimes don't want a woman to be strong. It's
that's
like it's so crazy to me.
That's not just a black man thing.
It's like a woman can't be a boss. A woman can't like have her own and still want someone to hold her at night. It's crazy to me how
Marco,
she's like,
you've
been that person though.
Marco,
you've been
been what person?
I'm gonna call you to the carpet. You've had said things in the past that have.
Tell me exactly specifically.
I don't know specifically off the top of my head.
Okay,
I'm just saying like in general, like you've said off-color comments with your boys sometimes about just like women in general. Like we all do it, not just. Every man does it when they're with their friends. That kind of demean the idea of like a strong, independent woman.
Do you have a problem with a strong, independent woman?
So in jest, at the end of the day, I'm an alpha.
Okay,
so
see, there we go. Okay, strike. There we go.
Nothing, ain't no strike. Ain't no strike.
All right.
But I'm a strong man. But I love a strong woman.
All right.
But not for nothing. Sorry. Hope I don't offend anybody, but you ain't gonna outstrong me in a relationship. And I'm not saying that that's what it's about, but my woman is, I need a strong, independent woman. But at the end of the day, like, we are two different genders. So I think a woman's strength is different to a man's strength.
Okay.
I do think that. And I'm not saying one's better or worse. They're just different. Not for nothing. Most of the time, women are stronger than men.
They are.
They are.
They are. That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact. See, you're still.
But wait,
no, let's okay. Physically, no.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So
I'm not stronger than Marco.
Let's keep things in mind.
Okay.
So, but like that's what like people have to stop getting so outraged and offended by like a strong man wanting his woman to be. Well, see, I can't speak for a man who doesn't want a strong woman.
Okay.
I want a strong woman.
Right.
But at the end of the day,
do you want a woman who's a bit submissive as well?
Submissive is not
in a negative way. Not in a negative way. Just in a sense of like you want a woman to be a woman
who can lean into her feminine.
Exactly. To need to want you still, to want you to still be the man.
Not necessarily. Like that.
His voice went up 12
I
octaves.
know.
His voice, he went
exactly.
up.
I have the falsetto. I'm a
notes.
tenor and baritone.
Okay, because that voice went up high.
No, but like the roles change.
It be going up high when it's a lie.
Especially nowadays, right? Like if like I have no problem with my shorty fixing a tire, and she shouldn't have any problem with me cooking dinner. I find that sexy as hell.
When I see a strong woman doing all, I'll be like, work.
Now, if that had to happen, but that's not.
But if you're there, you're gonna fix it.
Exactly.
See, here's the thing. I get you, Marco.
Please speak.
I get you, Marco.
Okay.
And I will say this. There's a couple points here. Black women in particular, women nowadays, but especially a black woman, we do have to do it all. And especially the more accomplished we are. And so we get into this habit of, it's like working a muscle, okay? Imagine for the people that are listening and then the ones that are watching, imagine your left side, all right, that arm is the arm that is the doer. It's the get stuff done. It is resilient. It is strong. You are working that on a daily basis, from fending off people in your DMs to making sure you're not overlooked at work, to getting your education, to taking care of kids if you have them. That job is work, to making sure Karen isn't trying to try you. It is getting worked on a daily basis, so it's really strong. But this other arm, your right arm, that is the one that allows others to do for you. It's the one that takes care of yourself, the one that gives you pause, the one that allows you to just relax and be vulnerable. That is not getting worked in the same way. So what happens, we have a generation of women who are overworked on one side, so you have a Vin Diesel arm on your left side and a Bugs Bunny arm on your right.
Not a Bugs Bunny!
And so then you're trying to get into a relationship, and most of those women that I've spoken to want an alpha man. They want a strong man. The problem is they're in such a habit of using this stronger arm that when the heavy lifting comes in the relationship, which means building together, maybe it's a disagreement where you're going to default to your stronger arm to do that heavy lifting, which is the very thing that's going to push that man away. So you have to be mindful of creating space and taking a step back. And look, as someone who literally gets paid to talk people through this and work with them through this, I still struggle with it too. Yeah. Literally, we were coming back from Kansas City the other day, and my boyfriend says to me, he's like, do you need help like closing the suitcase? I'm sitting on it one knee, trying to, because I'm not checking that bag. It's going to fit in the carry-on bin. So I'm like zipping and trying to get it, and he's like, babe, like you have nails. I don't. Like, do you need my help? And I'm like, no, I got it. He's like, you are terrible at asking for help.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know.
Girl, but I know. We the same sign. I was just
Aquarius
we the same sign.
Terrible at asking for help, but I appreciate that instead of getting mad about it.
See.
He was just a gentle reminder. I'm here, and eventually I was like, yep, and sure enough, he came and basically he just touched the suitcase and then it zipped. So I was like, all right, yeah, you're right. I'm bad at asking for help, but I still try. It is a consistent, intentional thing, and I think sometimes when women get to the place of wanting to date, they're drawn to you, Marco. They want a strong, alpha, masculine man, but they don't know how to, and they don't necessarily feel safe enough right off the bat.
I get it.
To switch together. And then if the man's reaction to that, instead of being patient and saying, baby, I know you don't ask for help all the time, but just know I'm here, and letting her feel safe to lean into that, sometimes they feel intimidated or they feel tried, and then you have two masculine energies coming at each other.
I just want to take on something that she just said, because I completely agree. Even in gay relationships, same situation, I never ask for help. And I'll fully be struggling. I'll be in, and my partner will do the same situation. They'll be sitting there saying, I'm going to be like, you need help. And it's just, they'll let me go through all of that and they'll let me go through my emotions. And I think that is a sign of strength in a man. And I think that is also a sign of allowing you to go through the motions and go through the feelings until you get to the point where you're like, I'm going to use my Bugs Bunny arm. I need to lean on something. I need it right now. Because there's been many times I've gone on trips. I've been in situations where I'm like, I'm fine. I got it. When work is too much and they're asking me, is everything okay? And I've been like, everything's great. And then the moment that and this is a note to everyone, the moment that you find that person that's going to let you use that Bugs Bunny arm, you better hold that motherfucker close. True. Because they're just, if they allow you to still be that strong person that you are because they know that's who you are, but they're still going to be there for you when you need them to lean on, that's the one you keep. Because the people who have their whole lives together or think that they have their whole lives together and are strong, we're looking for those people that are going to wait for us to be held.
Life is tough. It's so tough. People don't realize that we're so conditioned now. I look at these past relationships or these situations that I've had, and no, but the funny thing is, no shade.
Oh, no.
Don't throw no shade. But my thing is, what about the initial, when you're just starting? Like you guys mentioned your relationships or people that you were seeing. Mm-hmm. What about if I'm a guy who likes somebody and we're hanging out and we're getting to know each other, and she's trying to use that strong Vin Diesel arm so much, it's gonna turn her potential suitor off.
That's fair.
And it's her job. Yeah.
Continue. But now, and I get it. But my thing is like I feel like as a society we have to just try to be a little smarter because it's gonna keep. It's a freaking circle.
You're 100% right though, Marco. You're right. Like it's not your responsibility on a first date, second date to create the space for her to figure it out. She needs to be.
But is it safe to say that people sometimes don't even know what they want? You could be the strongest person in the world. I was going to ask you this because I know you deal with these questions all the time. What's interesting is that we could think that we know exactly what we can have the list, we can have the check mark, and we don't even know if we really want that at the end of the day.
That's true.
Everybody could be like, I know exactly what my perfect man looks like.
And that
you
happens
could go talk
more
to someone
often
and
than
you can
not,
say, I want
and
all of
they're
these
wrong.
things, and you'll get it. And you'll have it, and you'll be like, I don't know if I want this.
Correct.
I don't know if this is really what I want.
Correct.
And I think that is the sternness, that's the strength, that's the like, I deserve. And I think that's worthy, that's fair. But to trickle on both of you guys, it's okay sometimes to like lean and just do the work and be like, I need somebody to help me get there kind of thing, you know?
And what the work looks like, just an example for all of our like female listeners or sort of more
a lot of females
energy.
listen. I mean,
I
he's
believe
here.
it for our feminine energy listeners. An example too, and I tell clients this, but an example. So with my boyfriend, when we went on our first date, it was during the height of COVID, right? So things were closing early and like it was kind of hard to plan a date in the winter time. It was hard to plan a date. And so the place closed relatively early, so we weren't there long. And it started kind of like snow raining, which for a Black woman, that's just a real struggle. So, we're kind of
honey, they're seeing the inches. They're seeing the tresses.
Yes,
and it looks good.
Shout out
it's
to
laid.
Antoinette.
All right now.
Esther.
Honey, if you're not watching, you need to because it's
laid.
laid.
Thank you. That's because I laid on it on the airplane.
All right now.
but Antoinette knows what she's doing. So so he's calling. He's like, I'll call the Uber, right? Because we were gonna go to another spot, and his phone was being kind of just weird, which happens, tech issues. But it took everything in my power, you guys. I've never told him to not pull out my phone and just be like, I'm just gonna call it. Like I literally, because I'm cold, I can feel the drizzle. I'm like, I'll just get it. Like I just get, and I like go to pull out my phone. He's like, no, I got it. And I could see he wanted to get, his phone wasn't. It was like the Apple Pay or something. It was like being weird. But he like wanted to get it, and I was just like, okay. But I had to have Devyn count to 10. It's fine. You're not gonna get it if your hair gets a little wet because problem solver me is like, it's cool. I'll pull my phone out. I'll grab it. We'll go. We can get out of this like quickly. And it's like things like little things like that in the early dates that you have to be intentional and mindful. When that check comes, if you're talking, you want an alpha male, act like you're allergic to it. It's fine. Don't reach or touch it. Don't play the game of I'm pulling out my wallet because then he might get confused. Like just sit there and let him pay, but then thank profusely. Be grateful, gracious. So you want to thank him then. If it's somewhere you've never been, thank him when you're in the car. Like, thank you, I love this restaurant, or thank you, that was so thoughtful. Be gracious. Don't sort of expect or take for granted, but if he wants to step up and provide for you, protect you, make you feel safe, which is what he should be doing if he's auditioning for that role in your life, then you've got to give him room to do that. Because if you don't, you're building bad habits anyway, where you're going to be taking on more than you want to carry. And the problem with showing people you can do it all is that they will then let you do it all, and that's not what you want in a relationship.
Can you say that one more time? No, wait, can she just say that one more time? The problem with doing it all is that people are going to let you do it all. And then that'll enter resentment. That'll enter everything that you dislike.
Marco is burning up.
He is mad.
I also say, though, I feel that...
He got a trickle on his nose. He got a little sweat.
I also feel that men have gotten weaker.
Oh.
Okay, well, duh.
Yeah.
No, because not for nothing, I appreciate I appreciate when a woman offers.
Okay.
Like if the check comes and she's like, oh no, I got it.
But would you be mad at her if she didn't offer and thanked you, like, oh, that was so sweet, thank you, on a first date?
I have a problem with that.
Why?
Why?
I think it's courteous. I think it's courteous. I think it's the
that. No, I'm sorry.
No.
Fuck it. I'm
No.
sorry. I'll let you get back to your point.
Okay.
But I'm gonna chivalry is not fucking dead. I am so sorry. If you're going on a date with a woman, even when I go out on a date with I'm not even into women, a man is always supposed to offer. If she's a boss and she's like, oh no, I got it, you could do that.
You mean if you asked her out, you
you're jumping
expect
to
her
conclusions.
to at
I'm not
least
jumping to
try
conclusions.
to pay?
I'm just no. I think
Can I finish?
Yeah,
Yes.
finish. Getting hot now. Child.
I appreciate the offer. When she's with me, she's not going to pay at all.
But you want her to offer.
On a first date, though.
Yes.
You want her to offer.
And would you not go out with her on a second date because she didn't offer, even if she was like, thank you, Marco. Or you guys went, yeah.
She was saying that. She's
Really?
like, I hope we do this again. I would love
No,
to.
I'm not going to say I wouldn't go out with her on a second date.
Place.
But it turns me off a little bit.
Why?
I appreciate. I think it's polite. I think it's a polite
But
thing to
that's
do.
not courtship, though.
Thank
There's
you.
a difference
Thank
between
you.
polite and friends
I
and
think
courtship.
what isn't courtship is the guy letting her pay.
But see, Marco, the other problem is I've had guys who've come to me genuinely confused because the girl offered, and he's either been told by a
And
girl
that's
got
a weaker
mad.
man.
No, but a guy being mad, a girl being mad, like I can get my own hat.
Yeah.
Like it's confused. It's playing a game. Like the fake.
It's
the
a power
fake-
play. It's a
the
power
fake,
play.
I'm gonna pay. Whether
Yeah.
shouldn't you just be happy that she's gracious because
you just said you're going to pay anyway.
Yeah.
So
I will always pay.
So
yes.
what does it matter if she makes the effort to
I
pay
think
or
it's
not
just
to pay?
I'm big on politeness, manners.
But isn't she polite by
And
being
too.
thankful, by being
That's
there, by
great.
giving
No,
a
but-
conversation?
And then on date 2 or 3, maybe the roles because I
Maybe
recommend
she's
the
gonna
time
pay.
she pay. You know, she
Because maybe
picks it
when
up or pays.
maybe when the date's over and she's so gracious, she's like, I can't wait to us to go to this next place that I want to go to, and I'll take care of it next time.
I'm not saying
What if that happens?
It's not a deal breaker for me. I appreciate the offer. She'll never pay. She'll never pay with me.
So why does it matter?
I feel like the women who have offered, I've had more
right
of a
now.
positive
Situationships with.
Yeah, and
But
the-
wait, women, did you hear that real quick? Just rewind the tape. He
Let me
said the
see.
women who have offered, he've had more of a positive situationships with.
right
Now,
now.
ladies,
I don't wanna
do
say-
you want
Situationships
situationships?
or a
You said
relationship?
situationships.
Nope. Run
You
it back.
cut me off.
Run it back.
No, I've had
You know what,
relationships,
DJ? Spin that back.
situationships. I've had more of a prolonged experience with that person, with the people who I felt who have offered.
I'm baffled. I'm fluklumped. I am bewildered. I am shocked. I cannot.
I think it's polite.
It's not that it's not polite, but I think if you're, I think it's
It's
counterintuitive
power.
to everything
It's
that
power.
you
Why
said
is it
in
power?
the beginning.
It's power.
It is a power
I'll-
move.
It's
Can't
power.
tell.
move. You know, I'll say
That's
this.
power.
I'll say this from the gay experience. 100%. If I go out on a date with a guy, I'm just speaking for myself. If I'm paying that bill, it's a power play. 100%. Like if I'm like, I got it. All
But
that
I'm talking
stuff.
about the offer.
But here's the other
But-
thing, Marco, is that because you want the offer to be sincere, which then means she's coming to
yes.
the date expecting and willing to pay because it's not a fake
Yes.
offer. And so it's weird because it's counterintuitive to what you've been saying and that you think it is important that women show more space
Yeah.
for vulnerability and lead with
Get
that in the
it to him.
beginning.
Get
And
it to
yes,
him.
No.
you
Get it to
want
him.
her on the first date
Get
to
it to
come
him.
in
What-
armored like, hey, I got this, I got my
What if I
bill.
was an asshole? What if I was a dick? What if she didn't enjoy the relationship or the date at all?
Then she should absolutely pay.
But that's what I'm saying. You should be kind of prepared too.
I didn't say she shouldn't be prepared to.
Oh.
I never leave the house
Yeah.
without my
No,
cash.
check that.
But if you're courting me, I like you. I'm going to let you pay. It's my gift to you. I'm
My
going to thank you. Be gracious. But I'm
My
not
question
gonna...
with what you just said is, what if it then becomes a discussion of now she wants to pay? Now
Right.
after she makes the offer, and you're like, oh no, I got it. Thank you so much for all of that stuff. And she's like, oh no, I want to pay.
If she's really that serious about it,
you'll let her pay?
we're gonna go back and forth. I've never had that happen.
Okay.
But
Child,
No,
what happens
not-
when you experience that? Because that's interesting about then what happens when it's two alphas going after each other? What happens when it's like you're waiting for the offer, right? You're waiting like, I like when the girls offer, and she's like, oh, let me look at it.
Because
And
that's
she,
the
like,
alpha energy.
and that's
you were
alpha in her.
saying.
And then what if she's on some shit like, oh, well, all right, then let me go to my Amex, baby, all that stuff. Then are you then now mad at her for you waiting for the offer, and then instead of having the back and forth, she boss up, she boss.
I would be mad at her.
So what do you say?
Right.
Right.
So then- 'cause
I
what-
appreciate the offer.
No, but what if she's that bad of a bitch that she's like, oh, you appreciate the offer? I got it.
No, I
Now-
got it back.
No, but what if she's that big of a boss? She's like, oh, here's the black card. You can take that, baby. So what we doing later? You want some dessert? Because I got that
If
too.
she did it without me being able to grab and reach and pull it back, then what am
But you risk that by doing what you're doing, don't you think? By waiting for the offer. What if you
I'm
get
not waiting for the offer.
But you appreciate the offer.
I appreciate. I'm not waiting for I'm gonna pay. My card is ready.
Do you appreciate the offer more than the gratitude? Because that's what it sounds like you're saying.
That's what it sounds like.
Because I said if she lets you pay, but it's like I am genuinely thankful for this thoughtful date. I enjoyed it so much, Marco. I appreciate you paying. I realize you don't have to do that. Like that should be the part that matters.
That's dope. That's dope. In my experience, I have found that the people who offer have more manners.
Okay, that's why you have to give you better experience. Then it's all right. I mean, I like your girlfriend though, so get rid of her. But if that didn't work out,
she's fantastic.
Yeah,
she's
I love
great.
her.
Not
She
for
knows
nothing.
I love
Not
her.
for nothing.
She knows
She
I love her.
offered.
I can see that.
I know.
She offered.
No, but she got big boss energy though.
Yes.
But like,
I'm sure there's times when she's like, I got it.
But like, I've been with girls. I've been on dates with girls who have offered. I appreciate that shit. I do. She offered. And
you sound like
what I sound like, fam?
Nothing. No, you know I love you.
He sounds
you sound like
in his communication style. Conflicted in your communication style because again, you're basically saying starting the relationship off.
You better take off because it's getting hot. You in the kitchen now. You in the kitchen.
All right, I'm good.
I'm playing a little bit of mind games in communication because you're saying you don't want her to bring out the energy, but you think it's mannerable. And again, you can.
You're already starting. You're already starting the relationship with a mind game.
A woman
you are.
No, because I'm a chivalrous person.
No, but I get that, Marco.
Right?
But you're intuitively already judging her based off of the assumption if she offers or not. You're like,
let me see.
It would make you look It would make you look different at her if she does not offer. You're not going to let her take care of it, but you appreciate the offer.
And you said you'd look at her differently.
And you'll look at her differently if she didn't offer. You're like this. You'll look at her different. And it's interesting to me that at the same time you would still somewhat be bothered if she was that boss of a chick that she's like, I got it.
Let me ask you this question. Or Devyn, or you, anybody.
Yeah.
Y'all, okay. If you're out with the guy.
Cute outfit, by the way.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
you too. Everybody,
you guys are always, though.
I mean,
you guys are always.
The eye candy of the day.
If you're out with a guy, you're somewhat kind of a new relationship, you end up going to a club and it's not your man, not your significant other, but somebody that you're spending time with. It could be something. You're out at a nightclub now. Different type, not just a date. You're out at a nightclub.
How long are we into the relationship? How long are we into the relationship?
3 weeks.
Okay.
All right.
So we've been dating, and now we're just out of the
club.
But
all right. And somebody drunk comes up to you and grabs your ass, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if the guy that you're seeing doesn't say something, do something, and you're, how would you feel? Would you feel some type of way? And you can easily handle the situation. You end up handling the situation yourself. Mm-hmm. But if he lets you completely just handle that situation on your own without even attempting to say, yo, let me handle this guy, babe. And then you're like, no, I got it.
It doesn't have to be a but it has to be an acknowledgement.
Did he see it? Did he see it?
Has to be an acknowledgement.
No, but yeah, agreed. We can piggyback over that. He saw it. He knows this all happened.
He saw it. She told him, I got it, babe. Let me handle it.
I personally, in my situation, I want you there. And you need to be there, and I need you to support me, and I need you to be angry as I am. But if I tell you that I got it, let me get it.
Yes.
I don't need you to jump in and make it bigger than what it is.
Right.
But if you clearly read the energy and you know that something's going off and you don't jump in, I still have a problem with that. But that's about reading the room.
That's reading the room and being together. You said a couple weeks in, not on the first date.
Because the scenario, you wouldn't be most likely at a club.
But even if
you a man and a woman or whatever, just for this sake, we're walking into a building and we get there first. Do you want the woman to offer to hold the door for you, or are you gonna go and just offer to hold the door for her?
I'm gonna go and offer the door.
But do you think of her less if she didn't offer to hold the door for you?
No.
Exactly. Are you thankful that she's gracious? Do you expect it? Not expect, but like you're happy that she's like, oh, thanks, Mark. Like, thank you, sir, for holding the door for me.
Women don't have
Was it a yes or no question?
It is a yes or no. You don't have to bring women.
Ask the question again.
So the question, the analogy, I think you get the point is, because it's first meeting,
yep.
You're both walking to a building together. You and the woman get there at the same time. Do you expect and or want the woman, do you think she has more manners if she goes to hold the door for you? Or do you automatically run up, get the door for her, and if she's gracious and thankful, like, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for holding that. So nice of you. Like, do you think any less of her?
Am I holding something? Are my hands full, Devyn?
Oh my God!
No. Neither of you have your hands full.
I have never had a woman hold the door for me.
But what if she wanted to?
That's nice.
But you don't think less of her if she didn't try.
I get your point.
Okay.
But
You know what? This is why I love me some Devyn Simone.
No, I get your point, but I don't think the two.
Yes, she'll be back, y'all. I know y'all listen. She'll be back.
I don't think the two are equal.
I think you need to see it as equal though, because I think what you're not realizing, and that's fine.
What if she asked me out on that date?
Then I think that's different. I do think that she should go with the expectation of paying.
I agree too. If she asked you out on a date,
I think she still wouldn't pay.
But that's great.
She thinks she should offer though, because she made that plan.
I agree.
She initiated
I agree. I know in the gay community, that's especially how it works. Whoever asks the person out is kind of the person that takes care of the bill. Because essentially, I know a lot of people are wondering, and a lot of straight people that listen, like, who pays the bill? Like, one's a guy, one's a girl. None of us are girls, first of all. None of us, unless we identify, we don't have any of that stuff. But with that being said, when there's two men out, it's usually, in my experience, whoever invited them out. Mm-hmm. Usually is that. Mm-hmm. For me.
I think that's fair. And I think that's fair. If the woman initiated, hey, she should go at least with the full intent. So 100%. She should always go capable of paying, right? Don't go anywhere with no money if you can't, But if she initiated the date, she should go with the intention of paying. And then if he chooses not to, fine.
And she shouldn't
even
be
But if he asked her out and you're coming to court me? Sir, you should come fully ready to court me. I will be grateful and gracious. I don't believe in this expecting it. I don't believe in ordering the most expensive thing on the menu. I don't believe in taking advantage of that situation. But also, I'm not going to play games with you and pretend I'm getting the wallet. If I'm getting the wallet, it means I don't want to see you again.
Now check that again.
You should hope I don't go for the wallet, because that means I'm saying, nope, I need nothing from you.
So when we went out to dinner, you don't want to see me again?
No, I bought you dinner because I love you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I'm just saying, we go out, But...
Did you offer?
Of course. Card was ready to go.
He did.
Oh, so you would be fine with that as long as I offered.
I appreciate the manners. I'm big on being polite.
I don't think that's manners.
And it's one thing we love about you.
I do appreciate that too. You are very much about manners. But one thing, guys, make sure you're standing on the right side of women. A lot of men don't know this thing. A lot of men don't know protect your women, all that stuff.
You're passionate about this.
I'm very verklempt about this whole situation with you.
About me wanting somebody to offer?
I just didn't ever know this was going to happen.
I'm not going to surprise. I am surprised.
I'm surprised.
Of the offer.
The offer part of your requirement for the
requirement for the offer.
Not a requirement.
But you said you would think less of her.
You would think different. You said it. Less. You said that. You said you would think less of her. You did.
I think that covers all. Like, I'm not talking about her offering to pay the whole bill. I'm like talking about I'll pay.
Well, first of all, no one's going to have to on a date.
If you're offering that's like
no one's going to have to on a
date.
Don't
do that. This is not.
As in the iconic words of Kenya Moore, broke bitches split checks. Okay.
I understand that. I appreciate the offer.
Well, by the way, if she's
but not
offering,
for nothing, I think if y'all kind of listen to what I'm saying, I think heads will go.
I think there'll be people that agree with you.
Of course.
The thing is that it's interesting because we kind of gone completely full circle. I just find it interesting how, like, in the beginning you were talking about, like, wanting a strong woman and wanting to support that woman, but in the same breath you won't allow her to be a strong woman. Because by saying that, like, you somehow judge her in offering,
not being vulnerable,
exactly, by not being vulnerable. It's like, what? It's interesting.
It's like at the end of the day, I'm a guy, and the way that I am, I'm not going to allow you to pay because I feel like.
And I don't think you should. And I don't think you should let her pay.
Correct.
But I don't think you should be mad if she does not offer.
Right.
So, like, let me tell you, my girl, right? I had to tell her because she offered on the first date, cool, but like, I'll open her car door, something I've always done, right? And she has a bad habit of reaching over and opening my door while she's inside the car.
Why is that a bad habit?
He feels like it's alpha.
I know. It's totally alpha. It's totally a power play. It is. If she wants to do that for you, why can't she do that for you?
Okay, so at some point, if you have two alphas, somebody's going to be more of the alpha. It's just a fact.
Why can't she be more of the alpha?
Sometimes she is.
Okay. Oh. All right, I know that's right.
All right, calm down. Bedroom secrets.
I know. I'm just seeing, right?
Easy.
That's the late night episode.
Right.
But it depends on every scenario. Like, so I had to tell her, like, listen, you got to stop opening the door from the inside. It's like, yo.
Why you got to tell her to do that?
Because it's I don't like it. Like, and it's like you're okay. You're going out of your way. It's sweet. I thank you. It's dope. But don't do it. I open your door for you. I don't do it so that you have to do it for me. You know what I mean? And like,
but then in the same breath, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Like, I'm so fascinated by like how your mind works right now.
I know.
Like,
right?
I'm so
same breath. What?
I'm just so because then you talk about the check stuff and like all it's seeming, honestly, as an outsider looking in, it's power. It seems not in a negative way. You want to be
alpha. You know why?
It's not a negative way. Men should want to be alphas. Men should want to be taking care of their girls and stuff like that. But I do think it's okay for a woman to still be badass.
I don't want women to be afraid of power, and I have a problem with the phrase toxic masculinity, right?
Yeah.
And
I want to talk about that one episode. Yeah, for sure.
Not for nothing, because it's like, there was something that I wanted to drop. I forgot, but you want your significant other, if you're your man, right, to be strong at times.
Yes,
of course.
And then when our society is toxic masculinity. No. Men have gotten weaker, in my opinion.
But even toxic masculinity is when you're being strong without thought and intention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're being strong in a way.
But even like the term weak bothers me, and that's why I really want to talk about the whole thing about toxic masculinity, because it's okay for men to be sensitive. It's okay for men to be
there's strength in knowing your feelings
and being
confident
sensitive. There's strength in understanding that you need a moment, and especially in our community, we're not able to do that. Black men always have to be strong too, and it's frustrating to me how it's considered weak sometimes when you're a bit more sensitive, you're a bit more flamboyant. You could be straight, you could be heterosexual, the moment that you cry is the moment that they're like, look at this bitch ass man. They're crying over some bullshit.
True.
But why? It's crazy to me.
It's the way our society.
That's why I don't like the word weak. I don't like when people say it's weak man shit or something like that, because it's like what makes a man bitch assness? Right. But it's like, what makes a man bitch ass? What makes a man weak? What's created that? Because just because he's showing emotion, how is that weak? That's the strongest thing possible.
Right.
You actually being vulnerable and crying and being it's insane to me. And in relationships, that's the whole dynamic, right? So the man's this, the man's that, the woman's this, the woman's that. There's these roles that have been created that don't really have to be real in any relationship. Right. It's okay if things kind of supersede or they change and all that stuff. And it's okay sometimes to be like, it's okay for your girl to want to open the door for you. Let her take care of you. Let her be all that stuff. It's okay if she wants to take care of the check. It's okay if she lets you take care of the check.
But she also knows the man that she has.
Well, all right now.
That's the thing. When these days we've gotten so fudged and smushed, the lines have been so smushed that people don't know where they stand anymore.
Right.
And that, to me, is the problem. I feel like we have to overall try to step up our intelligence.
It's either, to your point, it's the one size fits all. Like, we're kind of getting on you and teasing you about your expectations.
It's all love. It's all love.
But the reality is that any kind of relationship dynamic, whether it be friendships, familial relationships, romantic relationships, it's like building a cake.
Yeah.
And everybody has a taste a little different of what they like. A good chocolate cake for me. But everybody has the way.
What's the icing?
I'm making red velvet from scratch for Thanksgiving. It is what my role. It has been passed down. It is my family. I'm in charge of that.
Are you going to Kansas?
I'm going to Kansas.
Damn it, girl.
Making 2 red velvet cakes.
What the flight's looking like?
To save some piece for myself, right? But everybody does it a little bit. Does it a little bit different. And your relationship is the same way. So if Marco appreciates a woman who, at least on the first date, would fake offer to pick up the check, then that's the ingredient that he likes for the dynamic he likes, and that's okay. And if you have an ingredient, Patrick, for your relationships, I have for mine, the listeners have one for theirs.
Yeah.
There are certain rules of respect that are important, but overall, it's your cake. So don't let somebody tell you how many eggs to put in there.
Right.
Don't let somebody tell you how much salt to put in there, because you're going to be the one that has to eat it.
Ooh.
You're going to be the one that has to live with it. People are going to be judging your recipe. So you make it how you want to make it, but make sure the other person who's making it with you in that relationship, that you two are on the same page of what makes the best cake. Now, if you're trying to make cupcakes and he's trying to make Rice Krispies treats, you might want to reevaluate that. It's not going to work. But if y'all know, hey, baby, this is the cake we're making, like for me and my partner, who isn't on my social media, by the way.
Which he never should. He should never be.
It's because it's my business.
Like Jay Ellis.
He should never.
Just like Jay Ellis.
He should never be. Look at that full circle.
There we go.
Yeah.
But we're making our own cake, and that's all that matters.
God damn it, I want to have my cake and eat it too. Shit.
He lifted his hand like he wanted to smack it, though.
I smack the cake every now and then. I'll smack the cake.
Are you talking about the cake that she's talking about?
Huh?
I don't think so, because mine you just slice.
I know. And you put it on a plate and you eat it with a fork.
I eat cheesecake. I don't do the red velvet.
You know, Devyn, I am so appreciative of you being here. I'm so appreciative.
We are so appreciative. 100%.
Yes, we are. We're so appreciative of you sharing your perspective, speaking for yourself, and I want you to come back so badly.
No, absolutely.
And
we'd love to have you back.
We'll definitely.
You both know where to find me.
Oh, I know.
I'm here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anyone listening though can find me at the Black Love Summit, November 13th. It's in LA, but
Amazing.
You can watch it virtually as well. Go to blacklove.com/summit, or you can go to devonondating.com and sign up to be in the matchmaking pool for free or be matchmade.
Yeah.
So,
Also look for Devyn on MTV. She hosts the Challenge Aftermath often. She does the after show.
I find her on social media
Find her
as
on
well.
social media, Devyn Simone on all social platforms.
Absolutely.
Devyn with a Y, Simone with an I.
Yes, please. It's DEVYN, guys. It's not. It's not that hard. It's not that difficult. And it's Simone, as I always say, Simone, but it's Simone.
That is true.
As well as catch her on Amazon Live. Catch her on the Wendy Show all the
time.
My
You guys are family.
Thank you.
People don't know. I feel like that show is family. You got the team.
No, you are our
family.
It's
Marco once got my mom to twerk.
I know that's right.
That's literally just how much.
And thank you for just taking your time to just come and play with this mess called Speak for Yourself with this motherfucker.
It's so great.
You guys can of course find us on Speak for Yourself podcast on Instagram. Also Marco
we
Glorious
just launched our Instagram page.
Please follow us there or on YouTube, on everything. I'm just Patrick on social, Marco Glorious. And
much love, guys, and thank you again for listening and watching.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't. Thank you, and we can't wait for next time. Thank you guys. Thank you, Devyn.
Of course.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Bye.